Why do millions of Indians in Bangladesh support Brazil? Entire streets painted yellow and green, and children playing football in Brazil kits, families celebrating every goal. Why do millions of Indians in Bangladesh support Brazil? The biggest Brazil football team supporters aren't even in Brazil, they're in India and Bangladesh. As a Brazilian, I thought the biggest Brazil fans would obviously be Brazilians. Then I started dating an Indian guy, and suddenly he was celebrating Brazil's goals harder than I was. At first I thought it was just him, but then I started seeing videos from Kerala. Entire streets painted yellow and green, huge Brazil flags, people wearing Neymar shirts. They made statues of Neymar. And children playing football in Brazil kits, families celebrating every goal. And then that made me think, hold on, what is going on here? How does a country on the other side of the world end up supporting Brazil like it's their own national team? So I started researching, and honestly, I found the answer so fascinating and heartwarming and beautiful. India's love for Brazil. First of all, football is massive in parts of India, especially Kerala and West Bengal. Since India hasn't qualified for FIFA World Cup, generations of football fans have adopted international teams instead, and two countries became their favorites: Brazil and Argentina. If you've ever looked at videos from Kerala during World Cup, you probably see entire neighborhoods split between Brazil and Argentina supporters. People decorate houses, hang enormous flags, build giant cutout of Neymar and Messi, and honestly, it's one of the coolest things I've ever seen as a Brazilian. Bangladesh story. Then I discovered something even more interesting. Bangladesh's love for Brazil has a slightly different and older story. Pele's greatest World Cup happened in 1970. Bangladesh became an independent country just 1 year later in 1971. So while Bangladesh was becoming a brand new nation, Brazil had already become the face of beautiful football. A few years later, when Bangladesh started broadcasting the World Cup on television, millions of families watched football together for the first time. But Pelé wasn't just another footballer. Many people already knew his story. The story of a poor boy from a poor family, couldn't afford a proper football, who shined shoes to help his family, and eventually became the greatest player in the world. For many Bangladeshis, this wasn't just a football story, it was an inspiring life story. And when television arrived, and suddenly people weren't only hearing about Pelé, they were watching Brazil play. One something that really stood out to me was something that a Bangladesh journalist once said. He explained that many people felt connected to Brazil because they finally saw people who looked like them succeeding in the biggest stage. Players like Pelé, Romário, Ronaldo, Neymar, they're brown-skinned players from humble backgrounds becoming global icons. Representation matters. And for countries that had experienced poverty, colonization, and difficult histories, Brazil became much more than just another football team. It became a team that people emotionally connected with. Then I asked my audience. I recently posted a video reacting to some of the videos I've seen on the internet, and when I read the comments, I wasn't expecting so many stories. People from Kerala saying, my whole family supports Brazil, my dad supports Brazil, my granddad supported Brazil, we've supported Brazil for generations. Other people said the opposite. They said, my whole family supports Argentina, my grandfather loved Maradona, we've been an Argentinian fans for years. So I realized this wasn't just about football, it's about family tradition, and it's something that parents have been passing down to their children, just like in Brazil. So I found this page called BF Kerala, Brazilian Fans Kerala, and I saw thousands of people on the other side of the world celebrating Brazil goals, singing Brazilian chants. They even made their own song to support Brazil. And honestly, this makes me so proud. As a Brazilian, I've never imagined I'd find one of our biggest fan communities halfway across the world. So now I want to ask you, if you're watching from Kerala, how did your family become Brazilian fans? If you're from Bangladesh, was it Pelé? Was it your parents? Or was it simply falling in love with the Brazilian football skills? If you're an Argentina supporter, I want to hear your story too, okay? Because one thing I've learned is that in South Asia, football isn't just a sport during the World Cup, it's a family tradition. If you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Thank you, see you next time, bye bye!